FatDag is a Weight Watchers leader in Indianapolis, Indiana. However, the views and opinions expressed during this podcast are his own. They do not represent the views of Weight Watchers. And now, here's your host and wingman, FatDag.
Cheers. I am your host, FatDag. You're listening to Wise Advice. My weight loss journey failed when I focused on how. It wasn't until I switched my focus to why that I truly transformed myself. Join the show on the web at fatdag.com and follow along on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, all at Wise Advice. Send in your comments, your questions, your celebrations. I'll include them as part of the show. But before we dive in, remember, when you're out of points, stop eating points. Hey, I'm honored to be your wingman as we walk through this journey together because I believe in you. Well, hello there. Welcome to episode 262 of Wise Advice. Just got back from an amazing trip out in New York City. The international tour, as you know, rolls in from city to city to city once a month. We do a 5K somewhere just to kind of build a community and get people together. I see a lot of folks joining us live on Facebook who were there. Carolina, good evening to you. Good to see you again. But we had a blast in New York City. We did a little over 4 miles or so, ended up being a little longer maybe than we wanted, but it was such an amazing opportunity for the wingmen to get together, to meet each other. I've shared this more than once. The most amazing part of the international tour is that when I leave there, you guys all find a way to connect with each other and you build a support group in your own community of people you didn't know before. So that is the coolest part of this entire thing, is watching you guys make true connections with people who understand the journey. So we had a great opportunity. Operation FatDag had a board meeting in New York City. That's what brought me to New York City. So about 16 of us got together and we're solving the nation's problems with obesity in the military. You can learn more about that at operationfatdag.org. It is the nonprofit charity that I support. It's one of course. If you go to fatdag.com, click on the charity link, you'll see all the charities that the podcast continues to support. Operation FatDag being the number one. But our board meeting met, 16 of us we met, and we figured out a couple of solutions on what we're going to do to make sure the members of the military who are struggling, who need some help, who need some guidance, have all the tools and resources that they need, and we provide those for them. So go ahead and check that out for sure and learn more about it and get involved if you want to certainly be a part. Would love to have you on that journey. So the board met, we had a great time, got up the next morning, did our walk. My wife and daughter had the opportunity to join us. That was always amazing to kind of get a chance to hang out with my family as well. But I tell you, flying home on Sunday night at 10 p.m., and then getting right back up in the morning and going to work. Both of them, hats off to them for being amazing troopers. They're just truly in this to win this like we all are. So thank you for that. You could always find the podcast. It's the Wise Advice with FatDag app is the best way to listen to the podcast. The app gets right on your phone. It'll remind you when the new episodes are there. You can email in the show directly from the app. And then, it'll certainly remind you when a new episode comes out. So if you haven't already, go ahead and download the app. If you have it, remind someone else to download the app. Otherwise, you can find the episodes in Apple iTunes, in Apple Podcast. You can find it in Google Play. You can find it in Stitcher Radio, iHeartRadio. I'm trying to think of where else. Everywhere, anywhere that podcasts are played, Spotify, you should be able to find it. So go ahead and certainly thank you for continuing to listen. One last update, then we'll go ahead and get into email number one. But the last update is the Wise Advice Studio is well on its way. I got some amazing pictures that I want to share with you, but I'm building a site to allow you to view them. And so I want to kind of share the update with that. What's going to happen is right now I'm sitting in my living room and we're going to take a room in my house and we're going to convert it to a recording studio. I have all the CAD drawings and they're 3D. They're amazing. They're beautiful. And I want to share them with you, but I'm going to need your help. I'm going to need you to as a wingman, step up and say, okay, Mike, we want this. We want to have a dedicated show where we can remind ourselves often to stay tuned in and dialed in. So when you see that come around, certainly take a good look at it, and any support you can give would be greatly appreciated. So thank you for that for sure. This first email comes in out of Florida. It's from Peggy. Peggy joins us either Florida or Ontario, depending on what time of year it is. But Peggy says, well, hi, Mike. I found your podcast in early September after doing a Google search for Weight Watchers podcast. I am so glad I did. Thank you for all that you do. And thank you to your wife and your daughter for their patience in sharing you with us. Here is my story. I've been a WW member many times. Like many others, too many to count. This story starts back in October 2011. I was 220 pounds, 5'4", at 56 years old. I had just recovered from a bout of food poisoning, which resulted in the loss of a few pounds, and I thought, well, this is the perfect time to start trying to get back to a healthy weight. I went to a chiropractor because my feet hurt so much that I couldn't do my daily walks. He offered a full wellness program, so I signed up for a personal trainer who was also a nutritionist. It was great. I got orthotics for my arthritis in my feet, and with the adjustments, I was able to get back to walking again and getting fit and healthy. I lost almost 30 pounds on this regime, which was fantastic. However, I was far from done. I retired in the middle of this, and we began our annual trip to Florida for the winter. We are Canadian snowbirds. I kept on the program on my own, plus it's so much easier to be active in Florida. I went back to my personal trainer for a few sessions in the spring. Although the nutrition program worked, it was very restrictive to me. It was not sustainable for life, so I gave up and I started to gain again. Fast forward to my next Florida winter where I, with a group of friends, we joined WW. We have a wonderful leader there who is a joy to be with. I reached Lifetime in the spring of 2014, having lost a total of 60 pounds, including my previous regime. I tell people I was at Lifetime for a minute. I can honestly say in retrospect that I was terrified of maintenance. So many people seeing my success reminded me that losing weight was easy and good luck keeping it off. I believed them, and I told myself the same thing. I didn't believe in myself enough to work at it. I did okay until the summer of 2016 when my husband was very ill and had to have a quadruple bypass. Even though I worked hard at caring for myself and him, my weight was creeping up. I rejoined WW in Florida in December 2017, up almost 30 pounds. I was very happy when 1 month after this restart, Freestyle was introduced. I absolutely love it. I lost 20 pounds over the winter. As I said before, being in Florida is so much easier to be active. My normal Florida routine is 3 times a week cycling, 30 to 50 miles, plus 1 century ride each season. Walking 8 to 10,000 steps a day, aquafit, pickleball, line dancing, and jazzercise. All of my favorite activities. I'm in training for my 100-mile cycling ride coming up on April 3rd. My body is less inclined than my mind to keep up with this, as my knees are telling me I need to choose from all of my favorites. It was not uncommon for me to receive 80 to 120 fit points each week. Your comments about not using unsustainable fitness to meet your weight loss goals are resonating with me. So here's where I am. I started tracking regularly September 3rd, and I set a goal for myself to track every day for 100 days. I completed my 100th day of tracking, and I'm currently at 192 days of tracking as of today. I will hit 200 days on March 21st, 2019. I weighed in at WW September 8th, and I was up 8 pounds from where I left WW in April. Considering we had a very successful spring last year, as we had 4 deaths, my brother, my father-in-law, my aunt, my former boss and mentor, all were very sad and difficult. I felt 8 pounds was actually not as bad as I am an emotional eater. My goal continues to be show up every day, but tracking and getting as many blue dots as possible. I'm working at not being disappointed if the piece of metal I step on doesn't show me what I think it should. I am not setting a timeline goal to lose my remaining 12.4 pounds. It will take whatever it takes, but if I continue to show up, I know I will get there. My WW journey continues to be one of those losses and gains, frustrations and successes, slow losses, but still losses. My husband thinks, surely I must know everything there is to know about losing weight, but I am still learning. I'm learning that what works for other people doesn't necessarily work for me. I have tried eating all of my weeklies in addition to my daily points. I've learned that doing that means I'm losing and gaining the same weight over and over again, but not really going down. I took Marsha's comments on the live podcast recently to heart. I can't keep doing this. The definition of insanity is to continue to do the same things over and over and expect a different result. I am more determined than ever to get this done and succeed at Lifetime. I have completely changed my eating habits this time around. I eat much healthier. When we go out to eat, I choose the healthiest options for me. I don't look at what I would have previously loved to have. I am happy to find something that I will enjoy that will keep me and enable me to reach my goals. I try to have 0-point soups in the fridge at all times in case I get really hungry. I have cut veggies ready to eat and plenty of fresh Florida fruit. Nobody ever said it would be easy. Right now, today, I am strong and determined. My friend Judy and I are excited to meet up with FatDag and others in Toronto this June. I would love to be at goal by then, but my wishes and the scale don't always work together. It will happen when it happens. My why is to have good health, to keep moving so my arthritis doesn't catch up with me, move it or lose it, and to be off of my cholesterol medication. My mantra is that I want to be thin, fit, healthy, vibrant, and beautiful. I want to be that 90-year-old grandma teaching that fitness class that no one in the wheelchair wishes I had made different choices. Thanks again, FatDag. Like so many others, I appreciate that you find time in your busy schedule to help others. Don't ever let it be said that one person cannot make a difference. You do. Your podcasts have really helped me see this process in a totally different light, and now I really do believe I can do this, and I am worth it. Peggy. Peggy, you absolutely are worth it. Let's start there. What an amazing journey you've had, and I think what's cool about it is that you have gone through just about every single cycle of the journey. So first and foremost, my heart breaks for the tragic year that you had, losing your brother-in-law, your brother, your father-in-law, your aunt, and former boss and mentor. Not an easy year by any stretch of the imagination. So my heart breaks for you in that regard. And so regardless of what the scale says after the end of that, it really doesn't matter. You have figured out what's important in your life, and you put that emphasis where it needed to be at the time that it needed to be in. So certainly that is number one thing. The next piece I want to hit, which is something that jumped out at me instantly, is that you say you tell people you were at Lifetime for a hot minute. That's not true, right? We know that. What we know about the term Lifetime is when you reach your goal and you maintain it, and we award you the Lifetime Charm. It's a lifetime charm. You are a lifetime member, period. End of story, regardless. Doesn't matter what you weigh the second after. Once you hit Lifetime, you will always be Lifetime. Now, there is a definite difference between free Lifetime and paying to be a Lifetime member. But regardless, you are a Lifetime member. No one can ever take away the accomplishment of you set a goal, you went after it, and you did it. That piece alone can never, ever, ever be taken away from you. So I want you to understand that you are a Lifetime member, and being a Lifetime member is significant. It is a very, very, very big deal. You've earned it. You earned it deliberately by losing 60 pounds, which you cannot do on accident. Even with a bout of food poisoning, you can't lose 60 pounds and be completely healthy, which is what you've done. I'm glad food poisoning kicked off your weight loss journey, but let's be honest, right? That's not the way we should be doing this. So you did not lose 60 pounds because of your food poisoning. You lost 60 pounds because you were focused, you were deliberate, you went after it, you set goals, and you checked them off along the way. So congratulations on that for sure. That is the number one thing that I want to make sure that we celebrate. The other piece that I think is interesting in your journey is that this is the piece that I struggle with as well. And people make this thing harder than it needs to be. I don't for a second believe this is easy. I don't believe for a second that it's, there's something that just everyone just goes and does. I believe we have to work at it. I believe we have to fight many different things in our life that we didn't know existed. And we are constantly, and for the rest of our lives, we'll have to manage our obesity. We'll have to manage how we control our food. We'll have to manage our activity. We have to manage our lives for the rest of our lives. So I don't for a second think it's easy, but what I don't want to do, I don't want to make it harder than it is. And when people say, good luck keeping it off, it is easy for us to kind of put that in the back of our head and go, yeah, you know what? This is hard. And then because we think it's hard, we adjust our schedule and we adjust our mindset and we adjust our priorities and we give ourselves permission to not work it as well as we need to work it. So therefore, sure, if we're not managing this process, then by all means, the other priorities take place, other things creep up, and the scale will move in the opposite direction. You know how to do this. You have proven time and time again that you can do this. You are a lifetime member, which can only be given if you know how to do this. That's why I say keep your lifetime status for lifetime, because you have now proven to yourself you can do it if you take the time to manage it. Make this the priority and go after it. Now, we talk back and forth a lot about freestyle. And so I know there are many, many successful people who are enjoying freestyle. And I'm glad to see that you're one of them. There are some amazing truths in this program that get people going in the right direction. My unfortunate inability to recognize what a normal portion looks like. I joke and I say, I know when it's time to stop eating when the bag is empty. That's my first cue. When the bag is empty, that's my signal. Okay, Mike, it's time to stop eating because there is no more to eat. So freestyle in that regard, obviously there's nothing in a bag that is 0 points, but in that regard, I lose that ability. So I'm constantly learning. And so the fact that you have that and you're able to rock through it, I see that time and time again in my meeting room. I have so many people who are in the workshop who are just having an amazing successful go at this. You made it a very good point to say that no two people will work this alone the same way. What works for you doesn't necessarily work for somebody else. And so we have to figure out individually what pieces we like, what pieces we tweak, what pieces we modify, what we stick with. And you clearly have done that. Now, ditch a couple of these key words, right? Ditch a couple words like struggle. Ditch the words like frustrations. This is a learning process that you will learn for the rest of your life. Like I told you, we got to manage this for life. That's where you're at. Stay in your lane. Stay on your journey. Focus on what's working for you and do more of that. Think about your entire journey, right? The days that you've had great weeks and the scale has rewarded you with that, do that again. Don't try and overthink it and say, well, this worked, so let me try and see if this works too. Find what works and do it. When we get to Toronto in June, that is the plan. I don't care if you're at goal or not at goal. It does not bother me one iota of a bit based on the scale number. What I care about is that you show up with the ability and the mindset of I am going to hang out and I'm going to bring some positive energy to add to this community. That to me is goal. If you show up on fire with energy and you want to contribute back to this community, that's goal. Doesn't matter what the scale says. So I can't wait to see you in Toronto. Toronto, we went last year. It was an absolute blast. It was a little bit rainy. So this year, I'm hoping that the rain holds off and we have a much better time in Toronto. But rain or shine, we're going to get this thing done. It doesn't matter. We just got to keep with it. So keep up with your mantra. You want to be thin, fit, healthy, vibrant, and beautiful. I'm telling you, you're already there. You probably have the beautiful thing checked off. Fit, healthy, vibrant. Those are things that you can certainly control. But the beauty, I think you already have rocked out of the park. So own it. Keep doing amazing work. And Peggy, thank you so much for your email. So thank you again. This next email comes in out of New York. Chris writes in and says, Dear FatDag, I'd like to start by thanking you for your service to our country and for what you do with the Wise Advice podcast. I joined Weight Watchers July 2016. I wanted to lose 20 pounds. That was it. I thought, yep, I can do this. And I did lose it initially. However, I didn't hit goal quickly. I attended my meetings every week. The weekly meeting topics were great aha moments for me, and I'd leave motivated. But 3 days later, I'd struggle again. I then found your podcast and listened to every single one. I had all the tools to lose the weight and even a supportive family. You featured my daughter on episode 19 in the intro saying, when you're out of points, stop eating points. And yet, I didn't hit goal until spring of 2018. Yep, it took almost 2 years when I had so little to lose. I was able to go through maintenance and hit lifetime soon after. So why am I writing to you? Well, I guess I hope I can share what I've learned. Your concept of finding why is incredible. But it didn't help me all the time. This year, I came to realize what I needed to focus on was, why did I gain the weight? Let me share with you that unfortunately, my mother suffers from a personality disorder. I had struggled to be her caretaker for so long, and I developed the poor habit of putting myself last. When I finally decided to break ties with her, I ate to silence the guilt in my heart. When I started WW, I was my own bully. Through the meeting topics and my leader's empathy, I started to realize kindness to myself matters. And your wonderful words of, I believe in you, are inspiring. It just seems to take quite a bit of time to develop these good habits of forgiveness and kindness. I don't have a neatly wrapped up with a bow success story. I just hope that by sharing, maybe I can give hope to someone that might be struggling. At first, I hated that it took me so long to lose the weight and that I still struggle some days, but I guess I need the time to work on why I gained the weight and work on learning to be kind to myself, forgiving imperfections, and developing good habits. Ultimately, I'm glad I started this journey with Weight Watchers because I have learned so much. I guess you can say I'm a work in progress. God bless you, Chris. Chris, God bless you as well. Thank you for that note. I think God has blessed us all. And, whatever God you believe in or not, I think there is a higher calling that certainly believes in us. And I was certainly willing to share that backwards. And so let's go through a lot of your email as well. The first page of your email, I can hear the regret in your voice. And I want to break that from you. I want to give you permission to push that away. And for the rest of your life, I want you to change how you think and look at your journey. What I read was, and what I heard was, I didn't yet hit goal. Yet, it almost took me 2,000. I was able to soon after. So why am I upset? What I read in there was, I hit goal and hit lifetime. That's the celebration that was buried in an envelope of depression. It doesn't matter how little you have to lose. If it's 20 pounds, it's 100% of your journey. So we all have a journey. And so whether it's 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 20 pounds, if you're 20 pounds overweight, you hate it as much as a person who's 100 pounds overweight. It is the same emotionally. And so what I want you to think about is that you did it. You reached goal. You went on to attain lifetime. That does not happen on accident. You deliberately set a course and a plan, you do it, and in the midst of that, you had to deal with some guilt revolving around your mom. And so you finally understood that putting yourself first is the priority. You have to stop being your own bully. There's enough bullies in the world that are out there that are already willing to knock you down a notch. You have to stand strong against them, and you have to be your own champion. That's what you got to do. And what it does is you have to stand up and say, I can forgive myself. I want to be kind to myself. I'm the best thing going. You have to believe that with every fiber in your body that says, you know what? I'm the best at this. I'm the best me there is. That's what I want you to get to. And so when you get to the point where something happens and you have the opportunity to forgive yourself and wrap yourself in kindness, it's important that you do that. Very few people are going to come to you in a moment, and they may not even recognize that you need that opportunity, but they're not going to come to you the same way that you can relieve yourself of this pressure and the guilt. Think about it times when other people have gone through something very similar and you offer that loving support to them. It's that same support that you can offer to yourself. So I want you to get rid of the idea, the notion that you hated that it took you so long. and you hate that you still struggle at days. I said earlier, this is something we're going to have to manage for the rest of our lives. Yes, be proud of the fact that you're a work in progress. Be proud of the fact that you're working on you still. Be proud of the fact that you hit goal, you hit lifetime, yet you continue to still work it. That is the celebration. That is not a defeat. There is no ability to do this for a little bit, stop doing it, and just find lifelong success without a constant plan to maintain it. So the fact that you say you are a work in progress, to me, is the greatest victory you could have written. Because what that tells me is you understand this is a lifelong journey and you are in it to win it. So no one has a perfectly neat, wrapped up story with a bow success story. It doesn't exist. So if you're looking for that, and anyone else who's listening, if you're looking for this perfect journey, not out there. Stop looking. Find the things that are going right in your life. Celebrate them. Continue to do those. Find the success that you're deserving of. Get out there. Go after it. And win. So Chris, thank you so much for writing in. Truly an honor to talk with you and to meet with you here on the podcast and say, I believe in you. You know I believe in you. And so it's an honor to be able to actually say it again and say, congratulations on hitting goal. Congratulations on reaching lifetime. Congratulations on completely changing your life. And most importantly, congratulations on continuing to work at it. Very, very, very proud of you. Out of Santa Rosa, California, Lee writes in, says, well, hey, it's too obvious who it is. I won't even try to hide it, but why would I? It's Lee. Today was a monumental day in my personal life. As you might have heard on the last letter, walking used to be immensely difficult for me, especially after being struck in some fashion by a car 9 individual instances in my life. Understandably, I was wary of car number 10 making impact with me, so I avoided sidewalks. Then, as I laid out in perhaps episode 160, I stared fear in the face and I pushed out of my comfort zone. I have never been afraid since. In my town, Santa Rosa, California, there was a St. Patrick's Day 5K. A number of years ago, I forget exactly which, I did the walk, which went from a park down a creek and then turned around coming back. I had issues walking down an incline, and when my friends inadvertently abandoned me, I stood frozen, scared to try it alone. Eventually, I made a new friend who walked a part way with me, and then I finished in about 2 hours, 30 minutes. I misplaced the time from last year, but in 2007, I did it in 57 minutes alone. This year, I reached out to my WW meeting buddies, and one walked with me. We were really enjoying our talk and walking leisurely, not particularly caring about the time, but rather enjoying our time bonding. We were finished within a minute of each other in 1 hour, 7 minutes, less than half of my first year's time. What an enormous non-scale victory for me. This letter, along with the 5K intro paragraph, will be a lot of updates on how I professed myself in episodes 131, 160, and 209. Note, all those add up to 500. How cool. I am still living my best life as I can, and I'm making strides. A friend asked me to help out at her daughter's high school. I am the adult mentoring in charge of food pantry for at-risk, vulnerable students that may not have had enough food at home. The pantry is open each Friday after school, and I'm there encouraging the kids and helping them out however they need, offering ideas, finding items, encouraging healthy choices, whatever is afoot at the moment. In the past episodes, I proclaimed how a job at WW is the job, not just a job. Well, now I see that the job for me has many possibilities. Namely, any place where I can be helping people achieve a healthy, safe life. Opening my eyes to more avenues of employment and not wearing blinders either towards a job with WW or waiting for a decade to get hired in the field for which I spent a number of years training has helped me realize what is my purpose. I know what type of job I would be best at, and those are the only ones I look for. The trick now is finding one. I borrow some of my WW mottos in this realm, Stick with it no matter what. Take time out of the equation. I am looking and trying. It's not like I give up, but I keep my eyes open and I'm not obsessing. In past letters, I wrote how I needed my meetings. FatDag commented how my meeting mates needed me just as much, if not more, than I needed the meeting. I have evolved to being less dependent on the meetings. Likewise, in a letter of past, I wrote how the only place I feel comfortable is at a WW workshop. One new place I find myself at ease is the traumatic brain injury support group I attend each week. These people, along with their injuries, were different than mine. They get me and understand what I'm going through and where I've come from in a way I did not think people ever would. It is similar to how WW members get the struggle and more about being on program than why that may differ. But the overall reasons are similar enough. Another place newish to me in recent years where people understand me enough is at Special Olympics. Similarly, nobody else had the exact same trauma or disability I do, but our overall similarities are obvious. It is great to me to feel appreciated and with people who get me at the same time. One upcoming international tour stop is Phoenix. I'm planning to be there, barring anything unforeseen. It will be another important time in my life. Just before the meetup, 6 days before, on the 20th, is my 3-year anniversary of hitting goal. On April 26th, possibly the day I will be traveling, is the 34th anniversary of my traumatic brain injury. The day my life changed forever. April used to be such a downer month when I only had the 26th to think about. But now, with celebrating goal in the same month, I have a reason to celebrate too. I'll end with a sloth of numbers and data. Today is March 17th. It's my 3,434th day on program, my 3,434th day tracked on paper, my 494th weigh-in, my 76th blue dot in 2019, so far 100%, starting weight 309 pounds, October 20th, 2009, goal weight 200, April 20th, 2016. Current weight, 186.2 on March 17th, 2019. I have weighed in below goal every weigh-in since I hit goal in 2016. People question how I do this, and quite frankly, I never changed my mindset regarding how I eat. I shifted from lose, fill in the number of pounds, to lose 0. To stay focused, I aim for a blue dot every day. The blue dots are daily goals that keep me super focused, and honestly, it's working. At the start of 2019, I looked at my weight. A year earlier, I was within 2 pounds of where it was in January. Maintenance is doable. Never think otherwise. I know you all will hit goal. Do you? Signed, Lee. Lee, you are, I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I apologize for the rest of you listening. You are my favorite person on the planet, man. And no disrespect to the rest of you listening. Maybe if you write in, I'll bump Lee down. But for now, Lee is the number one guy on the planet. And the reason is because Lee is the epitome of what it takes when we say we just don't give up. There are many instances of in your life, Lee, where you could have just said, you know what, forget it. I'm moving on. I'm done. But that's not what you did. And you continually strive to improve. When I had the opportunity to meet you in San Francisco, it was the highlight of my trip because you brought such an energy and such a passion that I needed to experience as well. I needed to see that no matter where we are in life, no matter what we have had happen in our life, we have the ability to eat properly. That doesn't go away. No matter what's going on, you have the ability to make a different choice when it comes to food. And you've proven that. 4,000 days in a row and tracked on paper. Dude, you're killing it. You're an incredible inspiration in that regard. And so what I think is the coolest part of your letter is that you figured out what is your purpose. I remember, the first time we chatted, you did tell me that your goal was to be employed by WW. It's an amazing goal. And I applaud you for wanting to do that. But what I'm happy to see now is that you have realized that was just an avenue for you to give back. You have now found other ways for you to be of value, which you already always have been, but you have now discovered that you can provide value outside of this lane. You can provide value in many other avenues, and you have found a way to do that. That's where the true joy in your life comes from, is that when you now have numerous opportunities in front of you and you get to pick the ones that continue to bring you joy and happiness as you watch other people experience joy and happiness as a result of the effort and time that you've given to them. Congratulations on that. That is the life-changing for you, and you have found your purpose. I know every single time, in the Wise Wingman group, what you post, and people are very inspired by you. So you absolutely have the gift. You have the gift of showing people that this can be done. And whether you're dependent upon the meetings or you're dependent on the connection, you have now found a way to broaden yourself out where you're getting more balance to your life, but still getting it done. The most important thing we can do in this journey is find people who understand us. And so in the Wise Wingman group, in Connect, in our WW workshops, we find a way to meet people who understand the weight loss journey. And for so many of us, that is only a piece of this journey. So many people who have found themselves overweight, and you hear this in almost every single episode. There is more going on behind the scenes than strictly we overeat and that put us overweight, right? So there are things that lead to that. You, sir, have found a way to find the other areas in your life and find support in that realm as well. Sitting with a group of other people who have had a traumatic brain injury in that support group, I'm confident that and you sit in that group, you are providing just as much value back as you are receiving. As you participate in the Special Olympics groups, you are finding a way to inspire others and give back, and at the same time receive the inspiration from the group. So what I'm hearing out of your email and what I want other people to do is you have got to find your tribe. And so you've found them in the Wise Wingman community, sure. You have found them in Connect. You have found them in your meeting room, but there is more in your life than trying to lose weight. There is more going on in your life. And so what I encourage all of you to do is take the amazing advice that Lee has discovered on his own. Find your purpose. Find what else is going on in your life. Find other people who understand that side of it. Network with them. Network and learn and be in other support groups and balance them all out so that you can get to the point, just like Lee is, where you say, I have experienced tremendous growth. The amazingness of this email is very hard to contain in one episode of the podcast here, because what I read through his entire email is this guy has just gone from being dependent to being a helper. And so I've always said it before, when you reach back and you help other people succeed, that's the true measure of your success. We're not measured by how much we weigh. We're not measured by anything else. What we are measured by is how much we are willing to look at somebody we don't even know and help them. So by participating in other groups and being a part of other communities sure, you're going to benefit from them, but you simply being there is a form of giving back. So, 309 starting weight down to 186.2. Dude, congratulations. You're an incredible inspiration in that world as well. There is no doubt in my mind that you're a winner. There is no doubt in my mind that you're a hero. There is no doubt in my mind that whatever you set your mind to, you can accomplish. You have proven this time and time again. Maintenance is absolutely doable. Never think otherwise. It simply comes down to doing it. Right? And it simply comes down to making this the priority and getting it done. So continue to shift your mindset from losing weight to losing zero. And congratulations on losing zero for many, many years in a row. That is the ultimate plateau, and you absolutely should be jumping up and down and celebrating. Folks, that's what we're talking about. The journey is worth celebrating. Celebrating is where it's at. And I want to know, what is it that you're celebrating? Let's share it on the air. Go to fatdag.com, click on the Wise Advice podcast link, send in your celebrations, your comments, your questions. I will work them in as part of the show. I want you to email in those celebrations because I want you to be absolutely proud of what you're doing. I want you to share them so that other people can start looking for ways where they can share. and other people start understanding that this journey is way more than simply hopping on a scale and looking for a different number. This journey is about helping each other. This journey is about us reaching back to other people and say, come with me. I believe in you. You can do it. And how do I know you can do it? I know you can do it because I did it. I know you can do it because I've watched other people do it. I know you can do it because I've seen people with incredibly difficult lives find success. It just takes a community of people who understand you, who can wrap their arms around you and say, follow me. That's why I want you to email in. Folks, that's going to do it for this time. Remember that losing weight and getting healthy has nothing to do with luck. You have to remain disciplined and focused. Set your sights on your goal and go after it. For my executive producers, co-producers, Lisa and Heather, thank you, and we wish you good focus. Thank you for listening to the Wise Advice Podcast. Did you know for as little as $1 a month, you can take the next step as a wingman and support the show? Visit FatDag.com, click on Become a Patron today.